Hi, I'm Brian Garman, the Artistic Director and co-founder of Berkshire Opera Festival, and this is OperaLens, our new online series where we take a look at our upcoming season and at all things BOF. Today, we're going to shine a spotlight on the Berkshire Opera Festival chorus, which is under the direction of our wonderful chorus master, Jeffrey Larson. And I have two choristers here as my guests today. They are both sopranos. They have sung with us in productions before. One has been with BOF since our first season in 2016, and one joined us for Don Pasquale in 2019, and they happen to be friends in real life, even before joining the chorus. I'm very happy today to welcome Kalia Kellogg and Schauntice Shepard. Hi, ladies, thanks for joining me.
Hello, Brian,
Absolutely.
thanks for having us.
So it's very exciting. We're going to be able to move forward with our production of Verdi's Falstaff as we planned this summer. And I know that you both will be in the chorus for it. You've heard me say many, many times that I believe strongly that the ensembles, the chorus and orchestra, are really the heart and soul of any opera company. And choruses and opera houses are very interesting groups because with extremely few exceptions, one really can't be a chorister at an opera company as one's full-time job. So most choruses are filled with folks who have other careers, but who happen to be very fine singers. So I'd like to start today by asking you to tell us a little bit about what you do outside of Berkshire Opera Festival. Kalia, will you lead us off?
Absolutely. Well, it's interesting. Schauntice and I actually did meet singing, and we are soloists for a large church in downtown Hartford. So we have different singing assignments that we do, singing gigs, if you will, in the area. And so every Sunday we sing together as either soloists or section leaders. And I will sometimes sing with what's called kirtan, and it's actually in the Berkshires. We have lots of kirtan at Kripalu. I think it's opening back up again. I'm so excited. But I'll sing with some artists who do that kind of singing. It's sort of a yoga chant kind of singing. So that's something I do on the side. But my day-to-day job, the thing that pays all the bills that I do love is that I'm director of enrollment management at a community college just below the Berkshires, Northwestern Connecticut Community College. So I help run the admissions process and enroll students.
I see, that's wonderful. Schauntice, how about you?
So as Kalia mentioned, we met singing, which was great, and we became buddies. I love it. In addition to singing at the church in downtown Hartford, I've done things with Hartford Opera Theater, various other other churches as a call-on soloist. And when I'm not doing that or singing funerals, weddings, or other engagements, I am working at the University of Hartford in admissions as well. I am the admissions coordinator. I know, admissions coordinator. So I am responsible for kids getting their applications to the people who need to see them to give them money.
Yes, I see. Great. And what are the odds? Schauntice, how did you first come to sing with Berkshire Opera Festival?
Well, I was new to the area. I had been in the area at this time for about 6 years, in the area meaning Connecticut. And I was looking for opportunities when Connecticut Lyric Opera and Hartford Opera Theater, I believe, did not have those options. And Kalia and Jermaine Woodard told me about Berkshire Opera Festival. So that particular year when you were doing Don Pasquale, I came up to audition, and I was super blessed and thankful that you took me on. That was my first big opera experience here in New England, coming from Washington, D.C.
I see. Well, we're very thankful that you said yes. So in addition to having great voices, which both of you absolutely do, singing in an opera chorus also requires sort of an extra set of skills that you don't always need as a soloist. You need to listen to the people around you in a different kind of way, make sure all of your T's are together, you're making the same kind of sound. And you need different skills also from singing in a church choir or a symphonic choir, not least of which you need to sing and move and act at the same time while wearing makeup and costumes. So please tell me, some things about singing in the opera chorus that you might find especially enjoyable or satisfying, so that our audience can get a more complete picture of this experience.
Would you like it? So,
Sure.
the one thing, or the few things that I love the most singing in an opera chorus is being with like-minded musicians who have the same goal to make this production amazing from beginning to end. There's no lull. To know that the chorus sometimes is that transition point for the soloist, to know, okay, this is our moment and we're going to make it great. But having that skill set to know how to blend together, how some voices are bigger or smaller than others, how to compensate, especially when we add the components in for movement. Those are great. I love doing it. So I may sound a little cheesy, but I love doing it because it takes me into the skill set of what I've studied and trained for, which I don't get to apply at my 9 to 5 or even sometimes at my church job. So I enjoy that.
Sure, that's wonderful. Doesn't sound cheesy at all. How about you, Kalia?
I mirror a lot of what Shanti said. I mean, it allows us that dream of being on stage. And, you know, my thought was just like, it's the best seat in the house, you know, and actually acoustically it's not. And I hope no one in the audience is getting spat upon. And sometimes we spit upon each other, but we get to be up on that stage and to actually just open up your voice and sing with a wonderful conductor, with a glorious orchestra, and just have that wave of sound just lifts you up in a way that you so rarely get to experience. And Berkshire Opera Festival singers are world-class singers. So we get to be on stage with people who have been at the Met, who are just extraordinary and inspiring. And so that's exciting. I think the biggest difference between that and the church music, and I love the church that we sing with, I love the music we make, but I think both Shantice and I shouldn't speak for you, but I think I will.
No, I'm sure you're fine.
Shantice and I both have, it's a challenge to bring our voices in and blend them and straighten them. And it does help us because those subtle moments are important on the opera stage as well.
Yes.
But I get so excited for the opera stage when we get to like release the Kraken and like just sing out and be on that lip of the stage and just really give a sonorous hug to that audience. Like that's a high that I cannot even express, you know.
Exactly, that's wonderful. So we are doing Verdi this summer. It will be our second Verdi production. The first, Rigoletto, a few years ago, only uses a men's chorus, although we did get to hear Kalia's beautiful Countess Ceprano in that production. But Verdi always gives his choruses lots of music to really sink their teeth into. And so I'm wondering, either as a chorister or as a soloist, if you have any favorite composers to sing whose music really fits your voice well. Shantice?
Mozart. I studied as a conservatory soprano, so I am a Mozart lady. I love some Puccini. I love music of the Romantic and classical eras, especially because you can be really full voiced. Right. I do dabble a little bit in early Baroque music, but I live in the classical and Romantic eras.
How about you, Kalia?
Well, I'm going to sound like I'm pandering, but I just love singing Verdi. And I think back on, I'm going to do a little shout out to Maria Valdez, who I think is coming back this season with you all, not in our production, and I'll miss her terribly, but just, you know, she sang in Rigoletto and she sang, every time she sang the Caro Nome, I just, you know, everybody in the makeup room, I'd be like, shut, 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 shut. We turn up the speaker, and she was just so glorious. And I think, you know, Verdi just lets you do the full range of emotions. I'm not a Mozart girl. I love that there are singers who love that. It's very instrumental. Yeah. Singing Mozart feels very instrumental to me. And Verdi, again, is just like, just releasing the emotions and soaring. And I thought Maria kind of brought it to its perfect manifestation. So I'm excited that she's coming back.
Yeah, indeed. She'll be back in our second stage production in July of Glory Denied. A few weeks ago, I was interviewing our concertmaster, Charles Stegman, and we were talking about how anything can happen in live performances and how we all have a number of perhaps funny / horrifying experiences from live performance. And I know that most opera choristers have tons of such stories. How about you guys? Anything you care to share?
Schauntice, I definitely have one, but you go first if you have
And
one.
my story is really short. It wasn't an opera chorus moment. It was a soloist moment doing a Messiah. I was contracted to do a Messiah in Virginia. And I did all of my stuff, all of my work, all of my, the main soprano things. And I just blanked out. And they started playing the last soprano aria. And they're looking at me like, are you going to get up and sing? And like, after Rejoice Greatly, I was like, thank God it's over. And I literally blanked out and was like, oh, and I just stood up gracefully. I was like, blah, 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 sung my piece. But my friend was the conductor. So he was like, what happened? I said, dude, I totally just fell asleep. I blanked out. And I was not about to sing. So he just died laughing. He's like, I'm so thankful that you stood up because there was an audience there. Yeah. But that was probably one of my funniest, most recent within 6 years moment. Yeah.
Well, I shared an experience on the opera stage that with droves of others. So if I share this with any of my Connecticut opera friends, they'll know exactly what I'm going to bring up. We were in Aida, which Aida, again, a Verdi, a huge opera production. And it has one of the biggest choruses. And if you do it in a huge house, sometimes they bring in animals, like it's massive. So we were at the Bushnell in downtown Hartford, and Charles Kane, who has also done costuming for Berkshire Opera Festival, was our costumer. He had to make costumes for droves and droves of people. So I remember my costume fitting. I went into the little place where we take our street clothes off and put our costume on. And I slipped on what I thought was a slip. And I opened up the curtain. I said, hey, Charles, there's only a slip in here. He opened up the curtain. He goes, whoop. And he took the slip, put it over my chest. And he looked back and he goes, okay, you're good. That was the costume. So it was just a slip that was right here. I need to tell you this because it has a key piece of the story. We were on stage and it was a night that Baryshnikov was performing next door on the next door stage at the Bushnell. So it was a big night, tons of people there. We were excited. It's Aida. We're in our big, massive scene on stage. Everybody's on stage, and all of a sudden, whoop, and the fire alarm goes off.
Oh no!
And the fire alarm continues to go off, and we're all kind of singing our song, our music. And we look at the conductor, and Willie Waters finally just goes, okay, we gotta stop. And they opened up the backstage door, and we filed out the back, and the audience filed out the front, and we stood out in, it must have been 50 degrees in our tiny little slips. And all the chorus and the performers were, gathered at one part of the street outside of the Bushnell, and just yards from us was the audience. They could absolutely see us. They were outside. And I was in my little slip, like looking for Baryshnikov, like, is Baryshnikov out here? But he had already finished. So we all remember that moment from Aida.
Wow.
And we did just go back on, and the show must go on, or it must continue if interrupted.
The show must go on. Well, Kalia, Shantise, we're out of time for today, but I want to thank you both again for fitting me into your schedule. It's great to talk to you, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you for having us, Brian.
We are so excited, excited to be back in the Berkshire.
Thanks.
So excited to make music. Oh.
Yeah, you and me both. And as a reminder to all of you at home, you can learn more about our upcoming season by visiting our website, which is berkshireoperafestival.org, and by subscribing to our YouTube channel. I look forward to seeing all of you on the next episode of OperaLens.